Hi, I'm Tim Tuller, Canon for Music at St. John's Cathedral, with a couple words about the music for this Sunday, May 4th. Our prelude is entitled Prelude and Fugue on Victime Pascali Laudis by Paul Benoit. Benoit was a French Benedictine monk and organist and composer who was active in the early to middle part of the 20th century. His music was heavily influenced by J.S. Bach and some French composers such as Louis Vierne. Victime Pascali Laudis is a traditional plain chant of the Roman Catholic Church, so it's no surprise that Paul Benoit, being a Benedictine monk, would be attracted to that musical resource. And the chant is traditionally been associated with Easter and the resurrection. And so this particular prelude and fugue is based on it. And the tune more or less sounds like this. It's only heard in fragments during the prelude portion of the piece, but in the fugue, you'll hear it stated clearly at the beginning, and then the piece builds and builds and builds in a huge crescendo until finally you hear that tune played out on full organ. Our offertory anthem this Sunday is Sing Alleluia Forth by the 20th century English composer Eric Timon, who lived from 1970 to 1975. He was primarily known as an educator, and in 1956 he was appointed Dean of the Music Faculty at London University. Sing Alleluia Forth is a very rather conservative but very effective setting of the words that are really representative of the Easter season, and it really has that effect of joyful resurrection to it. Our postlude this Sunday is the first movement of the fourth organ sonata of Felix Mendelssohn. Mendelssohn was good at a great many things. Of course, composing. He was good at languages, dancing, painting, played many instruments. There wasn't much this guy wasn't good at. And in the 1840s, he toured England. He was very popular there, and he was very close personal friends with Prince Albert and Queen Victoria. And he often gave them private music performances and things like this. And because he was so popular, some English publishers wanted to capitalize on his popularity, and they asked him to compose a set of voluntaries for organ. And in England, the term voluntary really means any generic organ piece. It doesn't really have a set form. And in England, and even in America, in Anglican churches and Episcopal churches, the term voluntary is often used interchangeably with prelude and postlude, like we do here at St. John's. Basically, any organ piece that's played during a church service. And so Mendelssohn did comply and wrote a set of voluntaries that he finally he kind of grouped them together into sonatas, into larger forms to make them a little more saleable to the public. And we ended up with 6 of these sonatas. They're considered probably the finest organ music to come along since the death of J.S. Bach, nearly 100 years previous. And they're standards of the organ repertoire. He wrote a great deal of other organ music as well that's also wonderful, that doesn't unfortunately get performed as often as the sonatas do. So I hope you enjoy the music this Sunday.